Sorry for the police sirens nearby. If my camera did not want to mess up, it would have not been picked up. I will say though that if I start running, I'm pretty sure they're gunshot. They're gunshots, so they probably are pretty far. Um, but if I get shot and this video get posted, uh, if after watching this video, I like the person to like this part in particular. If I shot and I died, put like George, he died because he was too slow. Something dumb like he wasn't fast enough, or he died in the moral worlds of Sonic the Hedgehog. You're too slow because he was too slow to dodge a bullet or to throw something at the ceiling. Um, but yeah, at first I thought it was baseball, but no, the baseball thing is over there. So I'm 95% sure that was gunshots, especially because the cops just roll by. So I hope whoever it is good, unless they are a terrible person. In which case, I hope they aren't as good. But yeah, I don't know what happened. Probably might. Actually, I don't really watch the news, but I might see on the news tomorrow. Anyways, to the focus of this video. I had this idea for a short a while ago. I just never went about posting it because my phone wanted me to delete space, and I was like, I'll do that later, and I never did. Um, Now, keep in mind, this is gonna sound like same rambling. I got it more concise than last time because I actually know what I'm talking about this time. But you gotta bear in mind. So let me paint a picture with you, right? Do y'all remember Jump Force? A game with a title that is so hard for me to remember that during my first recording, I spent a whole 2 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck it was called. Um, that's a joke, but it takes me a while trying to remember it because that's just a I don't like the name. It's not a bad name. I just don't like it. Um, but yeah. So Jump Force. In case you don't remember, it was a anime fighting game, right? That was full of a bunch of crossover in the style of a ripoff of Sparking Zero. I'm not gonna say the original name of that franchise because God, no, I can't pronounce it. Or in other words, in a style that you would see in One Punch Man, My Hero, My Hero, To Justice. I forget the name of it. Demon Slayer, the new Demon Slayer game, the complete Dog Warrior, which was a JJJ, the JJK game. It's a style of fighting game that you see a lot, right? Um, and one of the you know relatively small things, or one of the relatively small problems with it, but it was still like very crucial. Like it's not a crucial problem with it, technically speaking, but it's like a big problem. The best way to put it is like this rock. For sake of argument, let's say I stole it from a building, a brick building, right? Like this rock probably won't knock down the building, but like it's still like very evident because it's very distinct, and most it's from a brick building. So seeing this one thing that was in there and then seeing it be removed, it's like okay, that's very distinct. I don't think that's important, but it's distinct. But yeah, I'm trying to describe it. I would say it's important, but it's not like the most important thing or the most important issue about it. But one of the things that the game did is they spoil you. Like you did not read every series from Shonen Jump, they will spoil you. And their favorite example of this is One Piece, where spoiler warning for like the next 2 minutes. Um, One example is that Sabo. Oh well, I'm gonna do countdown twice. Uh, I'll just let you know. The first countdown. Five, four, three, two, one. A character named Sabo. Whose mission maybe once free time skip. I'm not sure. But isn't mentioned too much. Like he's mentioned like a couple times, but as far as I'm aware, I think we think he's dead. Um, he is revealed to be alive within Hulk, like Dressrosa, which is like halfway the pre-time skip, post time skip, and then he's like halfway in the arc revealed to be alive, and like They just show them all freely, so that's fun. Uh, Another spoiler. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Luffy. Um, as we all know and love, Luffy is our lovable crackhead. Um, and he has, a couple forms, right? For some reason, for his ultimate move, they decided to use a form that is introduced during the same arc. I think Dressrosa. I forgot which one it is. I don't know if it's the one introduced in Dressrosa or the one that's introduced in Whole Island. Either way, they're really far into the series. Like, for understanding Whole Island, there's literally 2 arcs. Like, at the time that game released, I think we were still on one, which was an arc after. Like, that was literally the next arc. And for Dressrosa, it's literally the second to last arc. Like, even now, those are relatively new arcs. They're not the newest. Since Whole Island, we have 2 whole arcs, and we're on the third one now. But that's besides the point. They use Gear 4, Snake Man, or Bounce Man. I forgot which one. But the point is, they use one of them. That's it for the spoiler session. I'm gonna wait until 30 seconds to continue. Alright. Um, but yeah. So they love to do that. And one thing I was thinking about when I was making those videos, about like, hey, these animations should be redone was a bad video game idea. Now, this premise will start off with the anime aspect of it, right? So imagine this, right? You have your Shonen Jump. Let's say they have a sequel to Shonen Jump Force, right? Really cool. Why not? Let's say it's actually playable this time and doesn't suck buns and doesn't have loading screens that will literally compare it to Sonic '06. Which, fun fact, it didn't have music either. So even worse, I would say. Um, but yeah, let's say they have a new game that actually playable, right? Um, and you unlock characters, right? Now we get into the aspect of the gameplay that I think would be fun, but make it bad, right? So, let's say you come across your first character. Let's say it's Luffy from One Piece. You fight him in the game, like, the game that you've been playing, the gameplay style that you know. The Shonen Jump, the anime fighting stereotypical game style, right? You beat him up, you get him, and then you want him to join your team. Plot twist, in order for him to join your team, you have to play a different game, essentially. Like, whether it be like a literal different game, or like just within the source code, a different game. Just depends. I would say that, like, depending on how, like, what you can do with it, I would like some versions to be like an actual different game that you can just connect to this to have the same effect, like like for Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero. But then other times I can imagine, like, let's say, JJK. They don't really have a good game out for this, so they would just be a game within this. But you have to play a new game in a fighting style, and you have to play it through Luffy's perspective. So you play his story mode through his perspective, but only to that point. Um, and then that doesn't seem that annoying. But you play up to the point that you see the character. So let's say when you see Luffy, he already met Zoro, right? Boom. You have to complete story mode until you see Zoro. Perfect, fine. And then you go back to the regular gameplay. But then you have to do the same thing with another character down line. Let's say Zoro. So you play it through Zoro point of view only, up until a certain point, and then by beam, by boom, you're done, right? Let's say Luffy for Zoro is Sabaody, right? You don't get Luffy perspective, right? You only know Zoro perspective. Um, and you might be getting the point of like, oh, what? That seems very annoying. So essentially, the way it works is like you have to play through the person's perspective to get to that point. And what I think would be really annoying or really funny is that you only get that character perspective. Like, when I say you only get that character perspective, so let's say Luffy, right? You will only know Luffy's story mode until he meets Zoro. You don't know anything else about it. So, like, take for instance, there are some times where Zoro is away from the rest of the crew. You will never know what any of the other crew is doing until Zoro learns that information. So, like, you won't see that fight between Saba Odie is okay. So like take for instance when he fight number 3, I think the guy with the blade arms, right, and he wins that fight, and then you see him getting lost. You will not see the epic fight between Luffy and Crocodile, right? And that's one of the annoying things, right? But as you go on, you gotta play longer story modes to make up for it. But then here was another aspect of this, right? Let's say Luffy, right? He's been one of your characters from the start. You're really good with his moveset, but it's just not good enough because it's from the story from the beginning, right? Now you have to do it all. Like don't have to do it all with him from the point you left off. You gotta do it all the way to that point in order to get that character stronger. So like, let's say Zoro, right? You only play with him until Sabaody, so he can cut through metal now, right? But like he won't have hockey unless you play until Egghead, right? They gotta keep doing this for every character. So if you want the full story, or like at least the full main story of it, you will always have to play the main character until their story completed. But you want like the full aspect of it, that will include playing characters who will be dog water. So let's say JoJo's story, right? Let's just go with part 3, right? Um you get Jotaro, you play until you meet Dio, right? Boom. But here's the thing, you don't know anything else about the rest. You only know what Jotaro knows. So take for instance, Dio's side of the story. You won't know that because you don't play as him. So in order to get Dio's side of the story, you have to and like fully understand like, oh, what about the past and what happened. You have to play him in the past. But this would be annoying because like take for instance, characters like Vivi, there aren't fighters. Um, but one that I thought of in the last video was Blackbeard, right? Blackbeard is a incredibly strong fighter. But now imagine if every time you fought, instead of getting eye frame, you get hurt frames. Like you get hit, boom, you can get hit again. But every time you get hit in a sequential order, you get more damage, so you like just double damage, and then you like 5% more every hit that you land in the combo. Like that would be so annoying. But it works with character. So it's like a character. It's based on the character. So because of that, once when you get his devil fruit, you have his weakness now, and I think that would be so cool. Cause like first of all, this would be very annoying to work with, but it'd be very cool when it comes to the sense like, oh, it'd be like, let's say Rock Lee, let's say the creator of Naruto didn't like how he did with Rock Lee. Now he has a chance to make his own story mode that doesn't really affect Naruto plot wise, but like actually showcase that stuff. And I think that would be so cool to do. But it still would be a bad game because you have to play like 15 other games in order to play the main game and continue onwards. And it would this format couldn't just work just for anime. It would also work for like indie games, like Indie Cross. I think that's the name of the TV show. Imagine that, right? You start off with your base character, and I was struggling with it the first time, but I'm gonna save Steve. And then you get your second character, the Terraria player, right? And since both of them are at the start of the story, you know, it's just beginning, and like Steve is like, you just got wood, Terraria, you just got wood, right? And this fighter is like Smash Bros. Platform fighters, right? But then like, let's say you want Hollow Knight and he's like the last character you unlock, so he's literally at the end of the story mode. You have to play through his entire game to get to that. But to make it even worse, unlike anime characters where it's like, oh, you can't really deviate from the path because the story's already there. Um, you will also have to get the ability. So like, let's say there was like a really good move on the platform fighter, the dash, right? Met me. Hollow Knight has this dash that's really good, right? And like it's known competitively to be like the best dash in the game because it's the only dash that does damage when you do it, right? In order for you to get that dash, you have to actually unlock that dash within the game. So you have to go through a lot of work just to unlock like this one ability. And I think that would be so annoying. Cause like imagine like take for instance Hollow Knight, right? That already would be annoying enough, depending on how good you are at the game. But now imagine something like, I don't know, Minecraft, which is gonna take forever. Like literally will take forever to do. Or the one that I really want to mention is Terraria. Cause like let's say Terraria could legitimately be like top, like literally the top player. Like oh no, if you play Terraria like with everything you have, he is the best, right? But like to get to that point, you have to spend so long. Like take for instance, he will have the best recovery in the game because everyone like his up smash or up special will allow him to teleport wherever he want, as wherever you want him to teleport. Right? It would be an arrow, teleport there as fast as you want, whenever you want, with no disadvantage, right? But in order to do that, you have to get the rod of Discord, and then you also have to find the Shimmer, and then Shimmer to become the Rod of Harmony. And I think that would be so annoying, because essentially it's forcing you to like watch these animes without watching them, or like play these games without playing them. So like, if they're a game that you just do not like, you have to play it in order to get the character to become good. And I think that's just purgatory. Especially because it will reward people who have no, like, who just constantly play games. And I think that would be hilariously bad. But let me know what you think, in the comment section below. This was actually a way longer, like, bad idea series I normally do. Especially compared to Johnny Razor, which, shout out Johnny Razor. Um, but, like, I might like this more than, like, the short ones. Let me know. But yeah, today's show will be Johnny Razor, of course, and we're trying to think of another YouTuber that I've been watching a lot recently to shout out, but like I've been watching the same view. Let's go with Alfred Replay, or no, yeah, no, it's Alfred Live, because a lot of times when I'm working on stuff, when I'm at Xbox, I'll be watching him play Among Us or something while doing it. So yeah, shout out to Alfred Live and Johnny Razor. See, I do have some memory in my head. Even I can't remember my favorite YouTubers' names most of the time. But yeah, that'll be it for today's video. Join me for the next video where I make a really dumb tier list that I was thinking about not me like stage thing tier list. I don't know what to call it, but like something really dumb that I don't think gonna be successful. Because when I came up with it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a funny video, but now I'm realizing it's stupid. But I hope y'all enjoy that video. See y'all next time.